Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sligo Show with myself, Brendan Tierney. We're here downstairs in the Riverside Hotel once again, and this week we have a very special guest to tell you all about in a moment. And don't forget, every week we have your news, sport and entertainment, and we want to hear from you, so don't be afraid to message us if you'd like to be part of the show, or if you have some good news in Sligo you want promoted. We'd love to help you in any way we can. So I've been looking forward to talking to this lady in an interview scenario for a long time. We've known her, and I'm sure many of you will know her through her various blogs and the amazing amount of promotional work she's done voluntarily most of the time over the years in Sligo. The Magnumlady herself, Val Robus. Val, you're very welcome to the show. I'm really looking forward to having a good chat with you.
Thanks,
how are you
Brendan.
keeping?
I'm good, thanks.
Good, and welcome to the set. You were admiring our set. I was laughing.
Lovely. It's really nice. Yeah, they've done a great job.
That's Brian behind the camera now, does all that magic work.
Well done, Brian.
So
great work.
So, I mean, I'm a blow-in, you're a blow-in.
Yes.
But I mean, I got to know you, I don't know how many years ago exactly. It feels like it's 7 or 8 years ago maybe, when you were starting your photography, really? Was that where I would have first come across you?
Well, I've been taking photos for a long time, but probably, I suppose I was probably in the limelight a bit more. I took a photo in 2013 of the snow in Gleniffe Horseshoe, and it kind of went a bit viral. So
from there,
yeah.
So as a blow-in then, well, where did you blow in from, or what was the backstory, or you were growing up, or
well, my parents were Irish. They were both born and bred in Galway, and then they moved to England in the 1950s, and so I was born in England, and then they retired. They didn't want to retire to Galway, but they retired to Sligo. And myself and my husband, Andy, came for a week, took one look at the place and went, we need to move here.
And what year was this now?
That was, we visited in 1990 and we moved in 1991.
Wow. So Sligo had that much of an impact.
Yes, totally.
Up sticks. That's
just, like in England, it was kind of like a rat race. There wasn't much time to enjoy life, I suppose, and we were quite newly married, and it was just like, if we decided if we were going to have a family, where better to bring them up than Sligo?
Very true. Yeah, I mean, it is quite a place. And again, I said I'm here a while too, but I suppose I never take for granted what a lovely space it is.
Totally.
So it only took you a week to find that.
Well, it just took one look at. I'll never forget it. Driving towards Benbolburn and like, wow, like just the atmosphere and just. And even now, every time I drive into town, I'm still blown away by the place.
Yeah, the scenes, the mountains as you drive in, I think it's lovely.
It's unbelievable.
And when you were in England, were you ever in the kind of photography, bloggy world? Was it just more kind of
my dad was a photographer. Both parents used to work for Kodak, and my dad used to work for the Harrow Museum, Kodak Harrow Museum.
Okay.
So I suppose photography was in the blood a bit. But he did weddings, and I don't. You don't
fancy doing them?
No.
Yeah, I think that is quite a pressurised job.
Totally.
I always feel sorry for the photographers at a wedding. It must be high intense work. So anyways, as you said, your photography is where I would have first came across you, and then obviously the Magnumlady blog. Now, firstly, what is Magnumlady, or how did that? Is this something to do with an ice cream, or?
No, and I wish I could change the name now, because it was kind of cool back in the day. It's a rock band, basically. There's a band from Birmingham in England called Magnum, and I was a bit of a groupie when I was a young one. And it was my first email address, basically, magnumlady@ecom.net, which is gone now anyway. But so I started it, and now it's just too late to change it.
I don't think anyone finds it cringy. Maybe
I do.
You're your own worst enemy. You're worried about it. Maybe
people think it's the ice cream or the champagne or Magnum PI.
Right. Well, there is opportunities for sponsorship maybe there anyway.
You never know. And there's also Magnum Photos, which I actually didn't think about at the time.
Right.
But pretty cool.
Cool. So people could be googling an ice cream and find you. So it's a handy. It's a good name in that regard.
Well, but anyway, it's
too
late. So
when did you start the blog? Like, what was the first blog, or what kind of made you go, I'm going to blog about something?
I started the blog in 2009. Basically, there was a lot of illness in the family, and I just started typing, and I started putting it on a blog. I didn't really think anything about it. I don't know why I put it online, but I did. And someone left me a comment, and I was like, oh, people are reading this. And since then, I get around about 100,000 views a year, and probably more. So I just kind of kept it up.
Right, okay.
It started, as I say, like a diary kind of.
So you're saying with ill health in the family. So did you find it maybe a bit of a release, even writing, even if you didn't care who read it?
Totally that. Yeah. I found the minute it was out of my head out in the ether, I suppose, that it was gone from laying on me. And it's still the same now. Like, it's just, I find if I've something going on in my head, especially, we'll talk probably later about the mental health, but I just find if it's out there, it's gone from here.
Yeah, and I read that a lot of people saying just sometimes just write down, even if you're afraid to share them sometimes.
Totally,
writing them down,
totally.
it just means it's out of here on something tangible maybe, and that can help. So that's interesting.
And it helps you process as well. Well, me anyway. So
So obviously you started as more of a personal blog.
Yes.
And I assume at some point along the journey, you must have just did a blog about some little journey you made. I presume in Sligo, was it? Or was that one of your first journey blogs?
Yeah, just started writing about Sligo really because so many people don't know about the place, and I'm like, how can you not know? Like, and then Westlife became famous, so it was kind of, that's where Westlife are from.
Okay.
But there's so much more to Sligo than that, and I suppose I want to share my passion for the place because that's what it is. Like, the wow factor is here. Like, we have the best of everything, like beaches and lakes and forests and mountains. Why would you want to be anywhere else?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've actually said this on the show to a number of guests. It was the best 2 kilometre limit lockdown place to be.
Totally.
Even in the town, like.
Yes.
You were always near okay, maybe you might never enter to a beach, but a forest, a lake, river, it was class to have like that. And then, as you said, that's the outer world.
Yes.
I think we're in a winner with the cafe culture, the lovely pub night scene, the music scene, the theatre scene.
Yes.
The sporting scene. Like, even in Sligo, I mean, as you said, you have so many different big sports teams. So whatever your fancy is, there's something there for everyone.
There is something for everyone. It's just a fantastic place to live.
But apart from the obvious things that we've just mentioned, your blog, in the different jobs I've worked in, I've often said to someone, oh, you're coming on holidays here or coming for a weekend, just read this blog. Like, even there's blogs for a rainy day.
Yes.
Like, you have so much information there of just kind of random little things that I'd say if someone was bored in Sligo and didn't know what to do, hit your website, Magnumlady, and it's just full of those things. And do you enjoy that, finding a quirky little crafty thing maybe, or a trail?
I love it, and there is, as I say, so much out there that people maybe don't know about. The bigger places seem to get a lot of exposure, but there's so many hidden gems, and if you just have a look, and I suppose when my kids were growing up, I was always looking for things to do for the kids, and so that's always on my mind, and just for all different ages. And I find sometimes maybe you put people in a box of what they should like, or, I remember going to a conference once, and at my age I was told I'd probably be knitting in a hotel, and I was like, no. So a few years ago, I called myself the middle-aged adventurer, and I went off and I did random things. So I remember I went down to Belmullet in Mayo, and I did coast steering, and you can do that in Sligo.
That's right.
So you jump off the cliff into the sea, and the worst bit was getting the wetsuit on. I thumped myself in the face, but anyway.
So you jumped off cliffs near rocks, but yet the biggest injury was a thump in the face.
Yes, it was, with the wetsuit. And then, like, you can go snorkeling in Mullaghmore, and it's like being in an aquarium. There's just so much to do.
Yeah, and I think, sometimes you go, boring Saturday, boring Sunday. It's like, no, on your doorstep. But I mean, I wouldn't even know all the things. So I keep going back, like, your site really does have. And like, in fairness, it's not something that you're like, oh, go to my blog because I'm getting paid. No. You actually have a passion. And I mean, from the very beginning and right through to now, a lot of it is just, you just do it as a voluntary thing.
It's really all voluntary. I mean, over the weekend there, I went to the new cafe Dock 84.
Oh, yes.
Just to see what it was like, and I wrote a blog, and there's 3,000 hits on it already. Again, not paid for. I paid for my food. It's just to tell people what's happening.
No, and again, I think some people get suspicious sometimes.
Oh, totally.
It's like, why are they doing it? They must be getting paid.
No. I think when it's a passion project. And that's what it is. It's a passion, and I want people to see Sligo the way I see it. Yeah,
and it's a normal person just journeying through the town, and
totally,
to see the inside of the cafe or a new hotel or whatever it is, or a concert and that. So I mean, it's amazing. And so as I said, you obviously have this massive love for Sligo since the first week you came, and you're pushing that through for years and years and years. And as I said, I've always said it, I think you should have been paid by some kind of tourism board or council or something, because it was a huge asset to have. No more than we had John the Map here on the show before.
Oh, he's brilliant too.
Yeah, like two huge assets, people just doing it as a passion. And I always say, wouldn't it be great if we even, maybe you don't want to do it long term, but if we could have someone with that same kind of energy and drive. So maybe you'll inspire someone if maybe you don't do more of it yourself in time to come.
It's great to do it. It's great to tell people what's out there. It is a lot of work, or it can be.
But that's what I was going to say. When you had the blog at its fullest, like, what was a regular week like? Did you have to go to loads of things, or were you asked to lots of things? Or
I used to do a lot more than I do now. I used to go to the opening of an envelope. I'm getting older now, and really, since COVID, I suppose, I've changed a bit. I'm not as comfortable going out, and that's fine. I did start Sligo Hub, which is another website. I started that myself and Kate McCarthy from Grange or Cliffany. We started that, and really, when we were running Sligo Hub, that was extremely hectic. When COVID hit, everybody was scared and nobody knew what was open or what was on.
Yeah,
So we spent, it was long, long days, having a list of exactly where you could get a takeaway, where you could get your shopping, who would deliver from the chemist. Kate did a map, I wrote the content. That was extremely
And again, to remind
hard
people
work.
watching, like, that may see it, I think a lot of people probably thought Magnumlady or Sligo Hub, oh, that's funded or it's linked to something.
we weren't.
It's not.
We
I know you
weren't.
had a little business through Hub people could sponsor, but
Yes,
it wasn't like
we had
you
a
were doing
few
anything.
sponsors that came on board and we were extremely grateful to them. But it was really just to pay for the domain name. It didn't pay us.
No, but I mean that work you did in that lockdown.
Yeah, it was
a serious effort.
It was a lot of work, and people did think Sligo Hub was Sligo tourism, and it's not. I moved away from it now purely. I suppose there wasn't enough hours in the day for me. So Sligo Hub is still running, but I keep my Magnumlady blog.
You do. That's the one. That's where we find your regular updates now.
Yes,
like on your blog journey, let's say like in Sligo, well, anywhere I suppose. Where was your favourite place that you visited? Like, what would you say? Well, let's go Sligo first.
It's like picking a favourite child, isn't
I know,
it?
yeah. It's okay. We won't tell the others.
I think there's two places really for me. Glenif Horseshoe. It's just there's a different atmosphere up there. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I was up there the week before last, and just the minute I start driving up there, it's like another world.
Yeah.
And then when you park the car, it's just, I don't know, I just can't explain it.
Yeah, and I only went there for the first time a couple of years ago myself, and
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
You feel like you're not in this world anymore. It's just surreal, and the scenery is insane.
Yes, it's fabulous, and I suppose having the photo that I took there that went a bit
Nice
viral, that
memories for you.
helped. Another place is Loch Easkey. People wouldn't think of that, but the drive around there. So you start driving, I suppose, from Loch Tout, Tubbercurry Road, and you would drive towards Loch Easkey.
Would that be near the Ox Mountain Adventure?
Yes.
I did drive that road, and I remember impressed on it.
I've been there too. There's chickens and sheep, and they're all over the place. You know, you wouldn't want to meet another car coming the other way.
No, I did think that too.
And you're like, but yeah, and the Ladies Bray as well. That's close to me. But even like where I live, there's dinosaurs where I live. I bet not many people.
No, dinosaurs in Sligo.
There's 2 dinosaurs. In
where
Killarney.
is that now?
In Killarney.
Killarney.
Yeah, that's where I live. They're just up the road from me. You can see one from the road.
They're not alive, obviously, I presume.
No. But it's great when it snows, and you know, I could just imagine people's faces. There's a dinosaur in a field.
Just randomly, it's not
Just
part of an event
randomly,
just a field.
No,
Okay.
just
Well done.
a man made them, and they're there, and I'd love them. Why not have a dinosaur park?
Well, something different.
Yeah.
There you go. It started here on the Sligo Show.
There you go.
Val's Dinosaur Park. So, out of places in Ireland you've never been that you'd love to go, where would you?
There are so many places. I haven't seen half enough of Ireland, and I suppose it's a time thing and a money thing.
Yeah.
When I had an exhibition in the Hawkswell, which was where the Wild Atlantic Way middle-aged adventurer thing came aboard. And there was an idea in the back of my head that I was going to get an ice cream van, or or tour Ireland from different forms of transport, so like a skateboard and a Honda 50, and just stop at different places and chat to people, like the characters.
I know, I think Tommy Tierney did a great walking thing years ago on the telly, and it just gives you a different kind of a journey when you're walking.
Totally, because you will meet these characters, and you're not expecting to meet them, and you'll just stumble upon them, and they're just normal people.
So you'd like that kind of a journey rather than like, I want to go to this.
No, it's not really. It's never about the destination. It's always the journey, because you don't know what you're going to meet along the way, and that's like life, really.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I just love. I'm a bit quirky, a bit different, and I'd love to do something different.
Well, I see with a smile on your face, I can see this might be something that might happen down the line. You know what I mean?
I keep coming back to it. I do think it's a good. I like a fire engine. You know, here we go. I'm off on tangent again. This is what happens.
That's good. We like tangents, but that's how the best ideas come about, isn't it? You keep throwing off crazy ideas, and then something sticks.
Yeah.
And I think people nowadays want something different to read and watch.
Yeah.
And okay, I mean, through your blogging journey, I'm sure lots of people have interacted with you in one way or another. Like, was there anyone particularly famous that interacted with you? Or I know you've been on multiple TV and radio shows and all that.
Yeah, I was on. I've been on. RTE, the Today Show. They gave me a makeover. It didn't last, sadly. I'm back to looking like a wreck. I was on TV3. I took a photo down in Hazelwood of swans, like in a love heart, and I got in a final of a photo competition. Didn't win, but I was on the telly. And then I was on the Claire Burns show a couple of years ago talking about panic attacks.
Right, okay.
So, and then I suppose most recently, Charlie Flanagan, the TD.
He gave you a plug for Falkirk Ireland, I think, was
it?
So hopefully they wake up and maybe...
He told me that Falkirk Ireland should give me a job, really.
Yeah,
so
but you were saying to me before that you actually wouldn't particularly want it, you're happy what you're doing. But I think it might be good to have someone like you to maybe meet with Falkirk Ireland or meet with Sligo Tourism or something to go, look here's all the things, like, even if you are hiring someone to do it, here's the plan, I can lay it all out.
There's a lot I'd love to do, and I suppose years ago would have wanted to work in tourism. I'm lucky now, I have my dream job, I have the best boss in the world and the best team that I work with, so I'm happy out. But but there are so many ideas, and sometimes I would get a bit frustrated where I kind of think, but anyway.
But I think that is a creative person will have all these ideas and you go, I'd love to see them come to fruition, but sadly maybe the funding isn't there, whether it's yourself or locally, or the energy to get it done isn't there as well.
I think you need a passion. It has to be a passion.
Well, you definitely have a passion, that's for sure. And we're only after, this is our first half here, we're going to take a little break, so we've got loads of passion through there. That was great. So we'll come back in a moment, have a chat again.
Okay.
So we're now going to go to our news, sport and entertainment. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and here is some local news to bring you from Sligo this week. One lucky local is €1 million better off after Saturday's National Lottery draw. It has been a good week for Sligo's food and drink scene, with 4 winners at the Bláisne Éireann Awards and 5 nominations for the Restaurant of the Year Awards. Tánaiste Leo Varadkar was in Strandhill last week for the first sod turn at a €1.9 million gaming hub development. The Minister for Further and Higher Education, Simon Harris, has announced that both IT Sligo and St Angela's College have been allocated €615,000 and €116,000 respectively under a new national mental health and wellbeing scheme for students. The lineup for the 3rd annual Spilt Milk Festival was announced this week. A series of performances, workshops, installations and film screenings will take place next month, celebrating the best and brightest of live experimental music and art from Sligo and across the country. Finally, we would like to wish our friend John Brownlee a very happy retirement after a long and distinguished career as a journalist, which included 19 years here at the Sligo Weekender. All the best, John. That's all from me. Good night.
This week on the Sligo Show, your sports segment is brought to you by me, Alana Canaan. It was a weekend to remember for Tubbercurry's Liam Kerrigan as he made his under-21 debut for Ireland during their clash against Luxembourg. The side eventually sought off the away group in Tallaght Stadium, slogging 2 goals into the back of the net, one of which was a penalty converted by Conor Coventry, but one in the first instance by Kerrigan. Sligo All-Stars recorded an 88-84 win against Tulka Rovers Basketball Club in the Division 1 League on Saturday, but they were made to work for it by the Dublin outfit. Keith Jordan collected 27 points and 14 rebounds to help the team to overtime glory, picking up the MVP award in the process for his efforts in the Mercy Gym. In rugby then, Sligo continued their AIL campaign as they took on Dungannon at Stevenson Park. Despite leading at the interval 10-3 thanks to a superb kicking display from Ewan Brown and a try from Stefano Giantorno, the Eights County men were ultimately dealt a 29-10 defeat upon the final whistle. The culmination of Club's GA finals are also upon us, with 2 finals across all grades and 5 relegation playoffs having occurred over the last few days. In the senior division, Strandhill were the better of Drumcliff Ross's Point on a scoreline of 2-13 to 8 points, and they now progress to the final. And there they'll meet 5-time reigning champions Turlestrane, who surprisingly cut it close against Kerry as that game went to extra time, but saw the status quo run through in the end when they secured the victory, 20 points to 114. Such semis also took place in LGFA news this weekend, yielding a flashy lineup of fixtures in their finals that are to get underway this Saturday, the 16th of October. In the intermediate, Drumcliff, Ross Point and Eastern Harps come to blows at 12 noon in Kerry, while old foes Giva and St Nathan's meet in the senior final, which throws in at 4 p.m. in Cage. That's it for this week's Sports Wrap Up with me, Alana Canan. You can find more from me over on hersport.ie, The Final Whistle, and also your local media outlets.
Hi everyone, it's Karen Gordon here from Pop Theatre Sligo and Star Factory with your entertainment update. It's an exciting couple of weeks for live music with the return of Sharon, Shannon and friends to the Hawkswell Theatre this Friday the 15th of October. Sligo Live is back. To pick up your tickets to see the Coronas, Glenn Hansard or King Kong Company, be sure to check out sligolive.ie, as well as the many other gigs happening around town the same weekend. And as part of Sligo Live, Luca Bloom and Mick Flannery also take to the stage in the Hawkswell in separate gigs, so be sure to check out hawkswell.com for those tickets. And for the family this weekend, Treehouse, a puppetry and music show, takes place in the Hawkswell Theatre on Sunday the 17th of October at 4 p.m. Tickets available on hawkswell.com. That's all for this week. Take it easy everybody and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks again to all our team there with the news, sport and entertainment. Now we're back here in studio with the famous Val Robus. She loves being called famous, I bet you.
Gosh.
That's not what you did it for, I'm sure. Or for the love of Sligo.
No, definitely not.
So, I mean, we all know your blog experience and your photography and the journey that you had there, but I know you're a huge mental health advocate and it's very close to your heart. And like, I suppose, can you explain to us all a bit more why that is or how has it affected yourself?
Yeah, I suppose a few years ago I got hit with depression out of the blue, and it could be an age thing, who knows. And I didn't know where I was going really or what I was doing, so I started blogging about mental health, as you do. Yeah. People say that I'm brave, but really I'm just honest. I think if I had a broken leg, I'd tell people I had a pain in my leg or whatever. So for me it was no different. And I actually found through blogging about it that people were contacting me then and giving me bits of advice. Yeah. And it was really helpful and it started a conversation. I know someone said to me, had I contacted Having a Laugh, the charity?
Yes, with Blowing.
And I hadn't, and I didn't really know a lot. I knew they were there, but I didn't really know what they did. So I dropped an email and they were like, is there anything you'd like to do? And I didn't really know because I didn't have a lot of energy or anything. So I went along for a seaweed bath and for the first time in a while I took the camera with me and I walked along Strand Hill and I took some photos, and then when I came out of the seaweed bath I happened to bump into Blowing and I just was like, I'm so grateful like that. I think I had the support of my family and I'm very grateful for that, but just to know somebody outside of that cared.
And a complete stranger,
yes,
there's a real lovely
totally.
warmness to that,
Yeah, and what they do is they give vouchers for people that are in mental health therapy.
I actually didn't even know
that.
Okay.
So, and it's whatever you want to do. So say if you fancy surfing and you're in mental health therapy, you get referred and you can go for a surf lesson.
Wow.
For me, it was a seaweed bath. I didn't have a lot of energy. And then I went for a photography lesson.
Right, okay, that's
so
I actually didn't know any
it's
of this
whatever you want to do, and I think that's hugely important. And I suppose through the mental health journey I had anxiety, panic attacks, all kinds of things. I had a panic attack in a mindfulness class, but anyway.
Well, that's a first, I'm sure.
Yeah,
there you go.
Trust me.
It was a good place to have one if we're going to have it, maybe.
Well, yeah. But anyway, I found I was trying to find things to fix me and I didn't know what was going to fix me, and I would go from this to this to this. But there's a kind of new thing now as well, like Having a Laugh are there, they're fantastic, but there's also social prescribing, and we're lucky in Sligo, there's a place in the Family Resource Centre.
Is that on the Mall, is it?
Yeah, there's also Tub of Curry.
Okay.
So you go along and they'll ask you what you like to do and then they'll suggest things. So I think especially with COVID, we've all lost maybe our ability to be social and we're all a bit anxious. But if your GP can refer you, or you can refer yourself if you feel you need it, and they'll find something again for you. Wow. Because I find sometimes people might go, I'll go for a walk. That's fine, but when you've got all these things going through your head, it's, maybe that's not the thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, so just get out and get some air, but you need to go, I need something more engaging, or maybe it's go out and do an activity with other people more so than I need to.
And it might be a social thing. And through Having a Laugh, I started the coffee mornings. That was because I found I didn't have anyone to go for coffee with, and I suggested we do a coffee morning, and like we had the Blind Tiger were amazing. Thank you guys. They gave us the place. They gave us the coffee for the first one, and 200 people turned up.
What?
And my anxiety was through the roof. And I'd picked it purely because you could see through the windows before you went in.
Yes.
Because I know when I was very, very bad, like I jumped the height of myself if someone even said hello to me. So I needed to see what was beyond a door. So the Blind Tiger was perfect. There were 2 doors if people needed to leave.
Yeah, very true,
and that's why I picked the place, and luckily they came on board. And now 4 years on, the coffee mornings still happen. They've had to go online, but they're still there, and they're once a month, usually the first Monday of the month, and it's on the Having a Laugh website.
If people want to find out about it, go to Having a Laugh on Facebook or their website.
Yeah, and it's totally, it's just, you don't have to explain yourself. And if you're having a bad day, the majority of people that are there understand.
Okay, or
you know,
they might be having a good one, but they've had the bad day and they can be empathetic.
Exactly. And for me, I suppose the hope I want to give is that there is hope out there. Like I never thought I'd come back to me, but I'm back, and I'm back even better because I've learnt a lot about myself.
Well, I think when you battle through a journey like that, you build up a bit more resilience and resolve in yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, you learn more about yourself.
Totally.
I mean, I can see even chat to you today, like, and I did meet you at times, and I knew you were, and I know you wouldn't have been bubbly, but like, it's lovely to see someone that's given so much to our region, kind of, you know, when you had your tough time, that it's now coming back. And I mean, if you believe in the universe and karma, and if there's ever someone that deserved a bit of goodwill back, it was you, like, you know. And like, so as you said, even through your blogging and all your work, you were having these difficult times that people wouldn't have known from the outside.
No,
like.
Well, you would if you'd have seen me back at the time. I mean, I used to run through town with my hood up. I couldn't deal with people. I was scared of everything. And it was a long road, and you know, I mean, you have to go out. I had to. There was not doing
Part
it.
of the game,
But you feel like you're alone, but then you find Having a Laugh, and you find people, and you realise you're not alone, and that other people have been through it and are going through it, and it's okay to say that you're not okay. There's a lot of talk about it, but there's not a lot of people that actually put up their own experiences, and I've written everything about mine.
No, and that is true. Like, you see these taglines and slogans, and then the person that maybe needs it most is going, oh, well, that's great, but like, what's the real practical thing? And to Blogin and even yourself highlighting it, like, it actually, I'm sure, as you said, loads of people have probably contacted you via the blog.
They have, and that's great, because I think you might say to someone, I'm not feeling great, and they might go, oh, you're grand.
Yeah.
You know,
I should get up and get out. And
exactly. Sure, it's, you know, and this used to wreck my head, where people would go, just, you know, get up, show up, and never give up. No, if you're having a bad day, go to bed, eat a cake.
I think that's it. If it's a day you need that bad day, and thankfully I can't pretend I have experience, but I mean, I see and read things, and so that's what and like, that's actually good normal advice from someone that's been there. Sometimes a family member might be having a bad day. You don't have to cry that they're having a bad day. No. You might just go, I'll bring you a cup of tea.
Exactly.
I'll leave you alone.
That's all you need. And I mean, my family were great. Andy would take one look at me and go, you need to have a nap. And I'd go, I do.
Good.
Go ahead.
And you didn't need someone fussing over you. You just wanted space sometimes.
Just have a break. And then I discovered art, actually. That's my thing now.
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a minute, because some of your artwork is beautiful. It's amazing what you've been getting up to. Like.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, so I mean, when we spoke about, you've blogged about your mental health, you've the coffee mornings, even social prescribing. We'll definitely have to put some links to this afterwards.
Yeah, totally, because I'm only new to this, and it's through actually a work project that I'm working on, and we're looking at the best practice across Europe for social prescribing. And it's just, that's how I discovered it. And you can do social farming. There's a farm even in Bunnadan, Quarryfield Farm. They've got alpacas. You can go and help them.
Wow.
You know, it's whatever you want to do.
Yeah. And I know IT Sligo, have they a course in
Yes, the first course in Ireland. And
is that for someone to kind of coach in it, or is
it would teach you, I suppose, how to advise people about social prescribing. Wow. But yeah.
And now we're going back to your blogging. Obviously, you had the 2 blogs at one stage. You now have the one which is still going strong.
Yeah.
But apart from that, so you have the art.
Yes.
Okay. And what are the current? Because I know I've seen different things you've been doing. You've the art. That's just a hobby again. But have you ever put in the exhibition was photography? You were talking earlier on.
I had 2 exhibitions. Well, I've had a couple of photography exhibitions. Then I had the window in the Weir Gallery last month, just a few photos in there. And then I had an exhibition in SG Education. They're an art shop in Carrow Road.
Yeah.
Brilliant down there. And that was to donate some money to Feral Cats Sligo. Yes. So basically, all the art I've done so far, I've donated to, first was Leitrim Animal Welfare, the second was Wildlife West Rescue, and they named a fox after me.
Ah, okay.
And
Did they call it Magnumlady or Val?
No, Val, Val the vixen.
Oh,
so,
well, that's
yeah, so I actually got to release her back to the wild.
That's
that
a nice
was
moment.
just, I mean, fantastic.
Wow.
And then, yeah, the last one was the feral cat. So I try, because the art helps my head, and basically I paint all the time. I'm drowning in paintings. So if anyone's looking for a painting, and I donate quite a lot of the money.
Okay, so they can buy them off you, and then the money goes to...
like most of the money, I try and keep a little bit.
I was going to say, can
for
you keep
my
a little bit for
art
yourself?
supplies, because what was happening was I was giving all the money, and then Andy was like, but you have to buy your canvases and stuff. I was like, I do. Unless someone wants to sponsor the canvases.
Anyone out there
plug.
with an art shop in town? No, but why not? Why not? If you're doing something good, and like, look at no more than, I'm sure they'll get a little plug as well.
Totally. I mean,
I think a lot of us are afraid to ask for these things.
Yeah, no, I'd love that, because the painting helps my head so much. I give myself an hour a day and just get up and paint what is ever in my head, and then if I can donate some money, because animals are hugely important to me.
Yeah. What's the little dog again?
I've 2 dogs.
Yes.
I've Pugly and Rocket.
Rocket, yes.
Yeah, so Rocket.
They feature quite strongly a lot in social media.
Yeah, then both of them have been poorly. They're getting older, so they don't feature as much. But they're still there. So,
still keeping you company. And go back to Sligo itself. Okay, I mean, obviously you've promoted to death Sligo, like, and I often say, as I said earlier on, I think it's one of the best go-to blogs to find out stuff, you know. But do you think Sligo's been promoted enough? And again, this isn't a loaded question to give out, and it's just kind of to go, what do you think we could do more of to promote it better? Or?
I'd love to see it promoted more. I have a million ideas, like simple ideas, because I don't know if you know that Queen Maeve got killed by a lump of cheese.
No, I did not know that.
So I found that out actually in Rathcrohan, which is in Roscommon. They have a cave there, which is the gateway to hell, and also the birthplace of Halloween. So
in where in Roscommon?
In Rathcrohan Park. It's a community-based centre. You need to go there. Yeah. Everybody needs to go there, and they're on all these different. They're on a megalithic site, but they'll bring you down. There's this cave there. It's called the Cave of the Cats. Okay. You can go down into it, and it's called the Gateway to Hell. And it's said that this is where Halloween originated from. And there is a legend there, or a story, that a fellow was chasing a cow and it went down the cave and it came out of the caves of Kesh.
Oh, so, right, okay.
So there's all these. So anyway, that's there. But on the tour, you see the video, and the video tells you about the different legends. And Queen Maeve is one of them. And legend has it her nephew killed her by firing a lump of cheese in a catapult, and it killed her. So why can't Sligo have a cheese festival?
Yeah,
why can't we roll cheese off Knocknarray or the Mall?
There's enough hills around.
You know,
yeah.
I just think there's so much we could do, and I'm buzzing with ideas and energy.
So I think we're definitely getting an energy here that whoever's the strategic people in the tourism world of Sligo, that we need maybe just have a little brainstorm with you. And even you'll give them the ideas for free, I would even say at this point.
Totally.
Like, glad to see things.
But even at one stage, I really wanted to do a bus tour of the Yeats, the places where he wrote the poems.
Yes.
And wouldn't it be amazing if people were dressed in the costumes and could recite the poems in character?
Well, I think we've enough great theatre people around as well.
Yes, so you could start at Sligo Tourism. I did actually do a plan for this. It didn't end up going anywhere, but I had a little minibus in my head. I would bring people from the tourist office around Dooney Rock, Isle of Innisfree, all of the places, and just, give them the location for the poems and bring it to life.
I know,
and then, also I would love to do someone dressed as Yeats going on the train, Yeats on a train, like snakes on a plane, and just recite the poetry, and even give out some of the Sligo food that we're famous for. And just tell people all that we have to offer. There's a million ideas.
So, as I said, that was a very good positive answer there, because it's great to go, well, here, give out, here's some ideas I think we could do.
There's too much negativity.
No, very true.
And I find that, especially with social media.
The next question is, what frustrates you about Sligo? But I mean, I suppose that kind of answers it. There is a bit of it around.
And the big issue is, and especially if you've, well, for anybody maybe, but especially with the mental health things, you're going to focus on the negative. You could get 100 positive comments, but you're going to focus on the one, who does she think she is?
Yeah. I know.
She's got notions.
And people can say, I don't mind it. Like, it's not easy to not mind it. Like,
no,
exactly. It takes a real strength of character to go, I don't care.
Exactly.
I think you hit a point in life where you actually don't care.
I'm waiting to get there. Especially, recently someone had a bit of a dig. And then you're like, the blog really is a personal blog. And I try to recommend as many things as I can. Yeah. But it's from my point of view. Obviously, I haven't done everything.
Yeah, but that is the thing, and I mentioned earlier, I think I liked having you on the show because I think a lot of people maybe don't understand that it is a complete hobby.
Yes.
Magnumlady Blog is a complete hobby. You might get a free cup of coffee here and there, fair enough.
Yeah,
well deserved.
Occasionally.
If anyone wants to give her more holidays or trips away or give her a car for a while or whatever, you know what I mean? Why not? Because I don't know many other people in town that write as extensively as you do. So I think we should be, connecting more with you where we can. You know what I mean? So I think we need to get people to wake up a little bit more.
I love it, really. Yeah.
And I love asking this question to people. God knows what you're going to come up with now, but if I gave you €1 million, you had to spend it on Sligo, what would you think you'd spend it on?
Oh, that's a really tough one. I would love there to be a creative centre. I've been to other countries where they have, I think there's the old Coleman's mustard factory, and it's now a centre for creative people. Yeah. Sligo has a wealth of creativity. So imagine having one centre where there were the musicians, the artists, the writers, that people could come and maybe learn from them and do a course. And also I find if you have creative people together, they're going to spark ideas off each other.
No question about it.
And who knows where it would end up. I'd love to see the bowling alley back. We used to have it years ago. I think it would be fantastic. There's so many different things that could be done. And things that maybe wouldn't cost a lot of money, but just maybe a bit of thought.
We have the old Bachelor's factory down there, don't we?
Exactly, and that's amazing. Actually, that would be an amazing film, a movie set or something.
No, it is amazing. But as a creative hub, wouldn't it be lovely to...
Yes, because there's so many creative people, and you don't make an awful lot of money out of anything creative, or the majority of people don't. So imagine having a hub that would support them
and develop, and there's the young talent in this country.
Totally. So, and
hopefully maybe we mightn't have to give you €1 million, but we might start annoying people and see if we get something moving.
I'd love to see that. And there's so many different things, and again, maybe just one place where people could find out about everything, maybe.
Well, I think from chatting to you, the first place they should go to is Magnumlady Blog, and I'm not being like just twee and plug. It is a voluntary website. It is packed with stuff. Whether you're a teenager, a mammy, older person, whether you're a family with kids, it's bursting with stuff, and it promotes our lovely county and beyond, in fairness, Roscommon, Leitrim and more.
Yes.
So I think that's where people should first go to look for some creative, fun ideas how to do. And I've learned so much, even having a laugh. We must actually get Blaheen on.
Too.
And she has a outdoor cinema thing coming soon.
That
I think it was postponed.
It was postponed because of the weather. So that's coming up, and do support it, because all the money goes back to give the vouchers to people.
Yeah, and that's amazing. I actually genuinely didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's just, whatever you're interested in, it could be anything. And the website's great, and they're just so supportive. And I'm blessed that I met them, and Blaheen, Teresa and Trisha, we bought a book out last year. This was another idea.
Somehow I do remember that book.
And it's actually a year since we bought it out, and the reason for that was it came up at one of the coffee mornings. We were telling stories, and out of mental health sometimes stories do come up, funny stories. So the book is light-hearted, and that's out for sale. Liba have it for sale, and you can buy it on the website too.
I have it at home. Lovely famous picture of the donkey you took in the front.
Yes, that's right.
There's a very good poem in that as well, I believe.
Yeah, of course, you're in it yourself.
No, but it was fun. It was like, I'd never be that. So I think there's loads of people did that with little photos, stories.
Absolutely, and it's light-hearted, and it's a book. It was done primarily because when you're in the throes of mental health, you don't really want to be concentrating on a long book. This one you can dip in and out of. Any page you open, it will give you a smile, and the majority of people that have written in it have had their own battles, and they're able to it's a lovely book.
No, it really is. You said, it's just that up on the shelf and having a coffee and dip in and out.
Absolutely, and we're very proud of it.
And we're very proud of you, and I'm so glad we had you on the show. I love people to hear more of your background and story and what you've done. From my point of view, as a person living in Sligo, thank you for all you've done. I think you've really opened up what Sligo is, and I think Sligo's tourism has got much more busier and there's a greater awareness. And I do believe that probably a big part of that was the nucleus of you for those number of years, because no one else was really writing as intensely as you were. So I think you have to be able to take a lot of credit for what you've done. So
Thank you.
Well
now
done.
I'm embarrassed. But
Not
thank
at all.
you.
Well, I think sometimes people deserve a bit of praise and a bit of credit. So well done. And I've been privileged to get to know you over the years and work with you on different little pieces and that. So Magnumlady.com. Magnumlady.com.
Yeah,
is where you can
I'm on
find
TikTok and I'm on Twitter.
Oh, TikTok and all. Oh, there we go.
TikTok,
All right,
yes,
okay.
I put up the red bus in the Ox Mountains and it's got 150,000 views.
Wow.
Just
Brilliant.
a quick, I don't know what I'm doing.
But it's obviously working.
I was only playing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter.
Great.
So,
Well, look, we'll no doubt see you around, and maybe in a year we'll have you back on the show when this creative hub is alive and well.
Yeah,
Who knows?
wouldn't it be
We'll all
great?
give it
All
that.
right, thanks a
Val,
million.
thank you so much for your time, and say hi to all the family at home.
Thanks, Brendan.
Cheers. So that was Val Robus from Magnumlady's blog, and now we're going to have a lovely piece of music from local band La Grazia. You're going to really enjoy this one.
You claim you understand me, just want to see it through my eyes. You don't know what's right for me, 'cause you're another kind. Piece of puzzles together, make your own life better. Don't criticize, 'cause you can live with yourself. You don't wanna know, can't never know. Don't wanna know, can't never know. You don't wanna know, can't never know. You don't want to know. Well, you grew up with nothing, always fighting for something, always asking questions about my life. Can I do nothing right? Who are you to tell me? You don't know what defines me. You go your way, I'll go mine. You don't wanna know, can't never know. Don't wanna know, can't never know. You don't wanna know, can't never know. You don't want to know. Don't wanna know, can't never know. Don't wanna know, can't never know. You don't wanna know, can't never know. You don't want to know. You don't wanna know, no, 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 no. You don't wanna know, no, 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 no. You don't wanna know, no, 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 no. You don't wanna know, no, no, no. You misunderstand me, don't wanna know me. You don't give a damn, don't wanna know me. You don't wanna know, you don't want to. You don't want to. You don't wanna know, no, 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 no. You don't wanna know, no, 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 no. You don't wanna know, no, 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 no. You don't wanna know, no, 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 no.
And that was the latest single from Sligo band La Grazia. Can't Ever Know is the name of the single from their brand new EP, No One's Fool. So be sure to check them out on their social media pages and give them a listen. That's the end of this week's show. Thanks to all our contributors in our news, sport and entertainment. Huge thanks to our wonderful guest, Val Robus. Be sure to check her out on Magnumlady.com. Thanks to Brian behind the cameras from Pixel Productions. And as always, thanks to Mark and Connie here in the Riverside Hotel for letting us have our space to do our show. We'll see you next Tuesday, 8 o'clock live. Thank you. So if you liked what you just seen, don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel here. We've loads of great interviews from a load of really interesting people over the series. And if you're on social media, which I'm sure loads of you are, we are on Instagram and Facebook, so give us a follow there.